As a Spurs fan, I loved Tim Duncan. He was my favorite player. And battling against Kobe Bryant, it was just the greatest times. I hated Kobe Bryant. Gotta say it. I hated him. This is my brother's shirt. My brother loves Kobe Bryant, but I hated Kobe Bryant just because he was always the person that would be standing in the way, and he was a great competitor, and his position and the way he played the position was always a problem for the Spurs. It was tough for the Spurs to guard fast and scoring guards, aka the Chris Pauls, the Damian Lillards, and those guys would just give the Spurs fits. Because Tony Parker wasn't a great defender, Manu Ginobili wasn't like an amazing defender either, and Tim Duncan really held it down on the inside, so he really needed better defenders on the guard spots for those kind of guys, and it was a little struggle. But the Spurs overcame that with their team defense, and that's how the Spurs played. But honestly, he was just a great player and a great human. When I found out the news, I was shocked. It was I heard it on the radio, and they were just like, this mentioned Kobe Bryant died, but they didn't say anything else. Like, the guy just cut to a commercial or like a song right after that, and I thought I was hearing things. Then my girlfriend calls me and tells me that Kobe Bryant did die. And I was just sitting there in a car wash at the time, just wondering, like, how does he die? Because he's like for me, it felt like he was like a superhero. Like, out of everyone that could die, he couldn't have died. And I don't know, my body just went cold. I parked up after the car wash for a little bit, and I just drove home in silence. I just don't want to listen to anything. And I got home and just didn't feel right. And then all you see is all the reactions and stuff like that, and all the memories and the tributes. It's just I seen that crash again and again and again, hearing more and more news, and it was just sad. I hated Kobe Bryant, but also love Kobe Bryant. And his post-career motivational speeches and like the things he talks about, the books he's writing, it was just great to see, and I loved every single thing about that. And I've learned to love Kobe Bryant even more after he retired, which is strange because most players don't really do much after they retire. But yeah, that was something. Welcome back to the Raptors Wrap-Up podcast. Now, this is a topic that I just couldn't get my head around, and it was something that I was thinking about for a while, whether I should do a video or not. This happened in January, and most of you guys already know this, but for those who didn't pick up or weren't aware of the situation, though I think it's a small amount, is Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter crash along with his daughter Gigi and a few other passengers and the pilot. Some of those passengers were part of Gigi's team, and others were friends of Kobe Bryant, and others were some parents of children. So rest in peace to all of them, and it was a tragic crash. And you know what? This is my tribute to Kobe Bryant and the legacy that he lived, and his impact on my life personally, and my passion for basketball. So here we go. Kobe Bryant, born August 23rd, 1978, passed away January 26th, 2020, aged 41 and 156 days. Out of Lower Merion High School, 6'6", 212 pounds, wearing number 24 at shooting guard. Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe had multiple nicknames as listed on his Wikipedia page. You know, guys all know the Black Mamba, Vino, like the wine. Then there's also some I didn't even hear before. Showboat, Little Flying Warrior, The Eighth Man. Never heard his nicknames like that, but as I was doing my research on Kobe Bryant's background, I really found out a lot more about him. And of course KB24, which is the obvious one. But just a few of his accolades, you guys probably know. 5-time champ, 2-time finals MVP in 2008, 18-time All-Star, 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 11-time NBA All-NBA First Team, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, 2-time All-NBA Third Team. Well, third team in 2005, that's just robbery, but who knows what happened. Then a 9-time NBA All-Defensive First Team. He was the top of his class in defense and offense. That shows his hard work and his grind to work on his weaknesses as well. 3-time All-NBA Second Team, 2-time scoring champ, slam dunk champion in 97, All-Rookie Second Team, and a Naismith Prep Player of the Year in 96, first-time Parade All-American, and he had his jersey retired for both the 2-4 but also the number 8. He was impactful on both sides, and he played 20 seasons, 10 seasons as number 8, 10 seasons as number 24, all for the Los Angeles Lakers. And you know what? Can't say enough. He was impactful on both decades. First off, number 8, he won 3 championships with Shaq. And then in the second decade, it's like where you had to regroup, you're rebuilding. You had teams that were very, very, very weak with the Smoosh Parkers, the Kwame Browns. And you're just trying to work yourself into a better team. You had guys put together like Jordan Farmar, Sasa Vucevic, Lamar Odom really came into his own thing. Andrew Bynum grew into some form. You made a big trade to get Paul Gasol. You had the rejected trade of the Chris Paul one, where Chris Paul was supposed to join Kobe and Dwight Howard, and I'm like, that's crazy talk right there. Because Dwight Howard with Chris Paul would be getting alley-oops all day long. But the NBA stopped that trade because if you think about it, at the time, Chris Paul was considered to be the best point guard in the game. And that would have been the best backcourt probably in NBA history right there. Because Chris Paul is the top of the game, point guard. And Kobe Bryant, the best shooting guard in the game. And that would have been just epic. But yeah, that didn't happen. It's tough just to go about this, but his last tweet, just in remembrance: continuing to move the game forward, King James. Much respect, my brother. Hashtag 33644. This is when LeBron James surpassed Kobe Bryant in the all-time scoring records in the NBA. And Kobe Bryant is one that, pushes people up, not one that brings them down. And you know what? It takes a lot of guts to do something like this because of his competitive nature. But people always think that players who are compared to each other should hate each other, and that's just not true. The NBA is a brotherhood, as they say, and you like to see them appreciate each other's accolades and help each other, because that makes the game much better and the competition much more fierce. So it was great to see something like that, especially since they were teammates on the USA Olympic team, and they're going to be good friends as time went on, as two of the greats, two of the top 10 players in NBA history are good friends with each other and are in the same decade. Just wish that LeBron James met Kobe Bryant in the playoffs, in the finals, in that, I think, 2009 season when Kobe beat Orlando. LeBron just couldn't beat Dwight Howard in his prime, and Imagine LeBron James against Kobe Bryant in the finals. That would have been crazy. So I like talking about Kobe Bryant because in the back in the day, my favorite player was Tim Duncan. Now, Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant, they had some great battles against each other. And if you don't know, back in, I believe, the 1999 to like 2010 decade right there, it was whoever won between the Lakers and the Spurs went on to win the championship. That's just how it is. Because whoever beat between each other will go on to the finals. They won't obviously win the championship all the times, but most of the time they won the championships. So if you look at it, 99 Spurs win, Lakers win 01, 2000, 2001, 2002. Then the Spurs win in 03. Lakers get to the finals, and 04 they lose there, and then the Shaq and Kobe get split up, and then Spurs win in 05. Then Shaq wins it. Then Spurs win it again in 07. That was against LeBron James. His first time coming into the NBA Finals. He didn't fare so well there. And then the Lakers win 09 and 10. And then the Spurs end up winning in 14, but it's a little further off. But as you see there, the Spurs and the Lakers dominated that decade, winning about, they missed the 04 championship, 06 championship, and 08 championship. 3 of the 10 championships, 11 championships if you include 99, they won. It was just fantastic. They just dominated as they were two powerhouses of the NBA at the time. Now, the Spurs have lost more games to the Lakers than the Lakers have. Lakers are 119 to 111 all time against the Spurs, so they do have the advantage. But some things that people don't know, I just wanted to pull this quote out from Tony Parker. So Tony Parker disclosed that Kobe Bryant mentored him even though they were on opposing teams. It was important to be there because he always had an impact on my career. He was always there for me. He was just an unbelievable player. He always there for me, giving me advice and text messages. Maybe the closest person to Michael Jordan, who I think is the best ever. I played against Kobe in his prime. I will always have fond memories of Spurs and Lakers, which was a classic with all of us in our primes. We would definitely all miss him. And Tony made an effort to come to the memorial because of the impact that Kobe Bryant has done. But Kobe Bryant inspired Tony Parker off the court as well, with Kobe Bryant supporting and really influencing the world about women's sports, especially since his daughter Gigi was a great basketball player in the makings. And Tony Parker is now part owner of Leon, and he's trying to make the same kind of impact that Kobe Bryant is making overseas. So this is what Tony says. The last time I saw Kobe was in China last year when he was an ambassador for the World Cup. We were sitting together and having conversations about women's basketball and how now we can grow it. He knew that I owned a women's team and was investing a lot in women's basketball. It's just sad that I can't see him anymore. I wish we could have done all that stuff together because we would have done great stuff together in women's basketball. And Tony Parker has made his own effort to push and, bring up women's basketball for himself and for the impact that Kobe Bryant has done. So Tony Parker's ambition was to follow in Kobe Bryant's footsteps and through the impact he was making in women's sports. Now, there was an interview that Kobe Bryant did with All the Smoke, which was Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. You guys probably check it out. All the Smoke is a Pretty Jokes podcast, and these guys are as real as it gets right there. But on that podcast, he was asked about if Shaq and Kobe stayed together, would they have won more championships? And this is Kobe Bryant's response. You know what? San Antonio was tough. The talent, the coaching, everything in San Antonio was kind of a perfect storm. If they weren't in the picture, we probably would have won 10 in a row. That just shows how much respect that he had for the San Antonio Spurs, even with Shaq. He said it's tough because the Spurs and the Lakers have battled throughout. And Kobe and Shaq were there for most of those battles. And the Spurs as a franchise have been a 50-win season ever since Duncan was drafted, and he's just been great. But it really shows the respect that he has for his competitors. And as a Spurs fan, I know that Kobe Bryant, he would just cause fits for the Spurs because it was just tough to defend a guy at his size and with his ability to score the basketball, and his IQ was just off the charts. Bruce Bowen was the best defender we had on him. Threw in Steven Jackson later on the years, but he's just too good. You're going to have multiple defenders because everybody's just going to get in foul trouble. And to keep up with him is it's just a hard task in itself. Like, you probably use all your energy just keeping up with Kobe Bryant on the defensive end. Imagine trying to score on him on the offensive end. Alright, and that was just the gist of things. Now it's just my personal feelings about Kobe Bryant. I'll make this short and sweet, but I know it's a sad moment, but I also want to celebrate the life of Kobe Bryant and the legacy he left. I hated him all my life, but loved him as a competitor, and he really inspired me to watch basketball, and just watching him play was just a sight just to watch. Like, I would turn on the TV to watch Kobe Bryant. Like, it doesn't matter who he's facing. He was just entertaining to watch. And the things he did, like a left-handed three, playing through an Achilles, shooting those free throws, just dislocating his finger, getting it jammed back in 2 seconds. He was just the ultimate competitor, hard work, a warrior, and it was amazing to watch. And Mamba out.